What's up, everybody? Welcome to Free Lady. I'm finally here in Utah. For those that have been listening and watching, I decided to make the move to Utah and Draper, Utah, to be with my man, Daniel. So it's super exciting. And I haven't filmed, even though you guys don't know this, I haven't filmed in a while. And so this is really awesome to have Liandra. Say hi.
Hi.
Hi. It's so awesome to have her on here. Daniel, if you guys haven't been following him, he has a podcast called Free in Your Mind, and he interviewed her fiance. And it was a fabulous episode. And I was like, I gotta get this girl on here. Liandra is a badass in my mind. Like, she is just amazing with her content. She's very inspirational. She's beautiful, an excellent photographer, and she has an amazing page on Facebook that she created, which we'll talk about, which you guys can absolutely join. And so it's all about like girl power.
Yeah.
Pretty much, you know.
And not like the typical, like, oh, we're just going to sit and gossip about everybody. Like, that's not what I'm about. This isn't like,
Right.
People Magazine or any of that bullshit. We're just women that want to do better and lift each other up and support each other along that journey, Need good female friends around us.
Yeah, we do. Yeah. I mean, it's really important for anybody in whatever community that you lie in to be a part of a community that is going to push you to be the best that you can be. If you have people around you that are not excelling in life and you notice that you're not excelling in life, maybe you should look at your friends or the circle of friends, your family, whatever. So welcome to the show, Liandra. First of all, we're going to
Thanks for
start off.
having me.
Oh gosh, girl, of course. We're going to talk about what we're grateful for today. I usually start with 3 things. You can say as many as you want. I'm super grateful, obviously, to be here in Utah because it was a very stressful move for me. But it's okay. That means I'm on the right path. Number 2, I'm glad to be recording again. Like I said, I haven't recorded in a few weeks. And then number 2, just to be close to, Daniel and start this new chapter with his girls and everything like that and make it a huge family. I'm really excited about that. Liandra, what are you thankful for today?
Oh man, I'm grateful to be home. I was gone for a couple of weeks. I haven't seen my kids in 2 weeks. It's been 2 weeks of vacation, but I'm grateful to be home.
Yeah.
Let's see. Number 2, I'm grateful that I live in the desert where there's no humidity. I am a desert rat. I am not meant to live on the beach for very long. And number 3, I'm grateful for my health for sure. And those around me have good health. And I'm really grateful for that.
Yeah, well, you're glowing, girl. I love it. I love it. That vacation did you good. So, Leandra,
It did.
Tell the audience what you do.
Dude, I dabble in a little bit of everything. So I am what they would call like a serial entrepreneur. I own a few businesses. I've owned an RV park for like 18 years. I have a bar and restaurant that today is our 6th birthday. So we've had that for 6 years. Me. It used to be my ex-husband and now it's mine. I have I've had a bakery. So I used to be like the cake lady back in the past. I've had a food trailer, sold that. And now I'm a boudoir photographer and I do retreats for women centered around confidence and boudoir and sisterhood, just learning about who we are again. So along with that comes my podcast From the Ashes and then my women's group From the Ashes. They're all kind of intertwined. But like we talked about earlier, just getting more good influences of female friends around us and holding each other to a high standard. I think it's super, super important. So yeah, I'm just going to do a little bit of everything. And I'm a mom too. I've got 2 teenagers. My daughter's 15 and a half and my son's 13. And I have an amazing fiance whom I adore. And he is the reason why so much of this is going so well. So it really helps to have, and I'm sure you know this, like it helps like night and day to have a supportive partner next to you that pushes you, that wants you to succeed, that wants you both to succeed. Like it's huge. It's so huge.
So big. Like it is crazy. Like Daniel, I mean, even this morning, he's like, I just want you to know that you're going to do great. Like, I just want to wish you all the prosperity and I have a great day. And I'm like, sometimes, sometimes I'm like, who are you? Like,
Right.
seriously, you're
And
so amazing.
is this real? We've been together for 2.5 years, and I've had that thought so many times. Like, this is too good to be true. And I don't deserve this. Like, this is what other people have.
Right. But
But
you do deserve that, right? Like, I deserve that
yeah,
too, you know? And I think when you have, I don't know about your past or anything like that, was what we're going to talk about, but when you dated the wrong thing like multiple times over and over again, like, it's a little bit of an adjustment to getting used to actually what you're worthy of, because you're so used to
right.
like, oh, you're fine. Oh, you're fine. Like,
Yeah.
and
Just
so
picking up those scraps along the way.
yeah, and Daniel is just like, he's such a light, you know what I mean? Like, I feel so blessed. I'm so lucky. I'm so thankful that I got to meet him where he is in his life now, because, he struggled with PTSD and got through all of that. And he's amazing. And, it's like, I get told all the time how incredible he is too, from other people, and not just guys, like from women too. And I just love that, because
Mm,
Daniel loves everybody. And it's a beautiful thing. And it's just a
it
beautiful
is.
thing to see other people that you get to surround yourself with. When you have the right person with you, you're going to have the right couples around you. And it's just, it's pretty cool. Like, it's
It is
pretty
awesome.
cool.
And
Yeah.
I'm sure now that you're in Utah, like, you see, I don't know, just how there are other couples around.
Yeah.
Um, in my first marriage, I didn't know anybody that was happily married.
Hmm.
Like, there were so many people that had been together for like 40 years and 10 years and 15 years,
Yeah.
and they despised each other. So then,
Yeah.
of course, like, what do? You start to do? You start to despise your spouse, because that's what everybody else does.
Right.
Um, but when you're surrounding yourself with different circles, at first, I think it's really hard to find the right people,
Mm-hmm.
because you're making a shift, and becoming different than everybody that you're usually around.
And
Um,
mm-hmm.
but then they just kind of, like a magnet, they just kind of gravitate towards you, and you
Right.
find the right people, and everybody supports each other, and everybody wants you to win individually and as a couple.
Yeah. Yeah. And I get that a lot. I'm sure you do too, when like people are
Mhm.
actually around you. And it's so funny because, we announced our relationship on a Lion's Den call. And so, like, there are people that are like, we're obsessed with you guys. You guys are such a powerful couple. You guys
Oh,
love, and you're just like, we are, like, that is so
right.
awesome. You know what I mean? And so it's kind of been a really cool, explosive thing that is just, coming together. And every time we're around each other, magic happens. And so it's so nice to like be in this, like in the same state, and really have that
Mm,
mindset that he's right there. Because in Colorado,
yeah.
it's just on the struggle bus mentally all the time. And even though it's like a different struggle bus of, being like, I'm super tired, like all the time right now, it's fine, and
Mm.
rebuilding the clientele and all these things. And you're just like, how am I going to do that? But, it all
Yeah.
works out.
Right. But you do. Yeah.
Going back to
Yeah.
have such a supportive man, like, it's amazing. Like, I have dreamt about having my warrior, and he is a warrior. He's a man, and
Oh, I
it's
love that.
it's amazing,
That's really cool.
Um, I love all the things that you've dabbled into. Like, I feel like you're just the type of person that, wants to give love to everything that you do with the people that
Mm.
are surrounding that, like having a restaurant, like being in, a baker and stuff like that. I actually used to work in a bakery too, way back in the day. It was really fun.
Yeah, it's a good time. I
A
kind
good
of miss
time.
it.
It's a cool skill to have. But
Yeah.
I just love that, like, what you're doing now with like inspiring women and taking these beautiful photos of women. So I met Liandra, you guys, at the women's event back in October, through Lions
Yes.
Den with Saxony Wayland. And I didn't really talk to you much. I didn't really talk to anybody that much, because I was like,
I don't think I did
right?
either.
It was just like, it was so powerful. The energy was so intense in
It
there.
was.
And I think everyone grew like 10 times over. It was
Oh
just
man,
so
it was an
amazing.
amazing event.
Yeah. And it made me like, introverted in that setting, because I was like, this is just, there's a lot of powerful women in here right now. And it just connects
Yeah.
all of us
And you just kind of, well, at least with me, I don't know if you are like an extroverted introvert, like some of us are,
yeah,
but when you get around that many, I don't want to say high caliber, but high energy
yeah,
women,
yeah,
dude, I just kind of like sit back and observe. I'm like, okay, where do I fit in this? Because it can be really overwhelming at first, if it's not something you're used to.
oh yeah, definitely. And I'm such a observer, like, when people get to know me, like a lot of the time I hear this all the time. They're like, man, we thought you were a bitch. Like we didn't.
Right.
Oh yeah, because I don't
Yeah.
say anything because I'm watching you. Like I want to know who
Yes.
you are. You know what I mean? And
Mhm.
like, I got like RBF for days. And so I'm like, oh, sorry. They're like, oh, I just, like you're so nice. And I'm like, yeah, I just, I'm not going to, get to know you if you're a negative person. Just
Right.
I'm being blunt like that. So that's where we met you guys. And I mean, you had a big energy around you, like just, you very much exert like the women's definition of a feminine goddess. You do. You really do.
Okay. Thank you.
You
That's a
do.
huge compliment.
Yeah, you do. Like, I just remember that because I was like, man, this chick, like, she is not afraid to show off who she is. And she has beautiful red hair. And I just like, I'm always like covering myself up. I'm getting
Oh
better.
yeah, I am not.
Yeah. And I just think that's so beautiful because you're so confident in that too. And I think,
Yeah.
as a woman, you should
That has been a huge change too, because
really,
dude, that I don't know. Oh yeah. Um, I've worked really hard for my body in the
yeah,
last 4 years. I went from, a stay-at-home mom, work at from home mom kind of a thing, and was never athletic, never any of that. But I'd always wanted to compete in like a bikini fitness competition.
yeah.
And I never thought I could. Like I had zero confidence in that whatsoever. So after my divorce, I was like, fuck this. This is what I'm gonna do. And and I did. It was during COVID, which was stupid, but um ended up like almost a full year of prep and walked on stage, got 2 first place trophies and a third
Wow.
place, like almost overall. It was crazy. Um, but since then, like, and I was always told, oh, moms don't dress sexy. Moms don't, they don't wear crop tops. They don't show their cleavage. Like they don't do any of that. And I was like, oh, okay, I'm a mom. That's what I don't do.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then once I was like, damn, I have worked my ass off for this body and
Yeah.
I'm going to show it off. I don't care. I don't care what other people think. My kids see it. Um, and
Yeah.
I think confidence from the inside, is
Right.
so important, especially as women.
Right. I do. I think that's so important too. And it just shows that you actually give a fuck about yourself. Like you love yourself. You know what I mean? And that's what people struggle
Mhm.
with so much. And I think you get to show that with taking pictures of women and making them feel confident, because it's really like when you find a good photographer. I had someone take pictures of me inspired by you and Saxony from that event,
Okay.
in Colorado Springs. And she's so cool. Like I was like, I had the best time, but I
I
also
love that.
had lost 20 pounds and I'm, still going. But like, it's just amazing that, you can get that feeling behind a camera. And,
Yes.
it's wonderful. And like all women should do it. So how did you get into boudoir photography?
Um, okay, so let me preface this. I am not I don't want to say I'm not a professional. I'm not a long time professional. I just started shooting I think I had my first shoot like the beginning of January. So it's been 6 months. Um, but I've been doing boudoir retreats for about 2.5 years now. And
Okay.
I would just hire out a different photographer to come in and do the pictures.
Oh, okay.
Um, and photography has never been my thing either. I just have this amazing fiance that was like, he already had this vision. Like you're going to be the boudoir photographer. You're going to be amazing. You're going to be like all these big things just talking me up. And I was like, yeah, okay. I have like zero confidence in that whatsoever. But he saw this vision. So I had my first shoot while I was still in my first marriage. And it changed how I saw myself completely.
Hmm.
And ironically, they say, you know, like 75% of women that do a boudoir shoot end up divorced or breaking up a relationship afterwards, because I really truly believe this, because you get this, you see yourself through a different lens. You
Right.
see yourself the way somebody else sees you. And then you're finally like, oh, now I believe it. Now I believe that I'm worth all the good things, and maybe I'm not being loved the way that I need to be loved. And now I'm not saying that like that's how it's going to end up for everybody, but
Oh, of course.
I have seen a lot of women transform their confidence from the inside just from a freaking picture.
Mhm.
It's crazy. And it doesn't matter like what size you are or how old you are. Like we've had 60-year-old grandmas going to my retreats, and she's hot as hell. I don't know if you've seen those pictures, but she's stunning. And I've actually, I tell people all the time, the bigger girls, the curvy girls have the best asses, and their pictures are always like perfect.
Yeah.
I can't fake it an ass, but they are they have them and they're beautiful. They're beautiful. So
Yeah.
I love it.
That's so great. I think that's great. And I
Yeah.
actually did not know that you just started doing the photography. I didn't
Oh yeah,
thought it was
this
with
is
like
new.
your retreats and you were doing that. Um, but hey, that's what these podcasts are for, learning about each other and just growing.
Yeah.
But that is, it is really neat, you know, when women do get to look at these pictures, because you're like, oh damn, because photographers know how
Hmm.
to shoot you and know
Yes.
how to make you
And
comfortable.
pose you and have these conversations ahead of time. And yeah, put your mind at
Right.
ease,
Right.
because they don't just be like, okay, get on the couch and be sexy.
Yeah.
There's so
Yeah.
much more to it.
Yeah.
But the cool thing is like I'm learning from so many different photographers. So Michael, for my birthday, it was like October last year, he bought me the camera and he's like, we're going to LA. And there's this guy named Michael Sasser who's like huge in the boudoir community. Huge. He has like
Okay.
hundreds of thousands of followers on YouTube. Like he's a big name. And he got me a one-on-one day to learn how to be a photographer with Michael Sasser. So we go down to LA and I'm like, I don't even know how to work my camera. I probably look like such an idiot, but I know how to be a model in boudoir. So I kind of have that part of it down, right?
Yeah.
Um, so I did a one-on-one with Michael there. I did uh I went like when I went in Hawaii a week ago, that's where I was at, was like a camp for boudoir photographers. So Michael Sasser was there and a bunch of other big names. And I'm learning from all of these different photographers and how they do things. I'm taking like little bits from everybody and then just applying it to my own thing. But like immersing yourself in education, I think is really
Right.
huge.
Oh yeah.
Like even in just 6 months, my pictures from day one to today, I mean, I've probably taken like 5,000 pictures, but like it's night and day. That's huge
Yeah.
in just 6 months. So if you can like, if you have something, sorry, I'm like rambling. If you
No.
have something that you are like super passionate about,
Mhm.
um, it's going to take time, but it's going to just take consistent time and just learning everything that you can
Yeah.
about it and from the people that are doing it the best.
Yeah.
Um, and not saying that I'm anywhere near them, but I'm getting better because I'm doing that. So,
And you're passionate, I mean, I think that was a great ramble, because a lot of people, especially in today's world, they want something now. You know what I mean?
mhm.
I want to be good at it now. And that's not it. It's like when you go to hairdressing school, you have to have 1,600 hours of,
Yeah.
just school itself. It takes like, I think Andrew does hair. If you guys are hairdressers listening to this, he has it all calculated. You have to do this many hours to master this haircut, this many hours to master this color. Like it is a process, but as long as you are in the process, in the present, you know, taking one step at a time, having 1 degree shift every single day, guess what? You're going to be phenomenal at it.
Yes.
And if you are passionate, it's just going to make you more phenomenal at it. And it's great. Pictures are great. It's like I look back on, you know, things I've done in hair when I first started, and you're like, well, you know, now everything is just like, man, that's cool. It's so beautiful. Like, you know, like, yeah, you would think that I would be burnt out during hair because I've been doing hair for 20 years this September. But
Dang.
I know, girl, I'm like, man, I'm like the oldest one in the salons now, but you know,
No, that means you're the seasoned one, right?
the seasoned one. But it's good to be around younger hairdressers too, because you learn from them. But it's just like I just love my craft even more because it's a beautiful thing for me. And just like photography, it's a beautiful thing for you. And to look back and get to reflect on your growth.
Yeah.
That's why pictures are amazing.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
Well, and I don't know, there's not really a lot of competition in the boudoir community, at least that I see.
Yeah.
Because there's enough to go around for everybody, right? And boudoir, just like hair, it's not a one and done kind of thing. Like you're constantly doing it and getting a different result every time. But I'm sure like maybe it is a little bit different in the hair community because you have clients. And how does that work for you moving from Denver to Salt Lake? How's that worked building up a new clientele?
Well, I mean, today was like, I think my 5th day working, you know, and so I've had a client every day except today. So that's really cool. And to me that's great. You know what I mean? To have one almost every day in 5 days is like really amazing. And I've had 2 huge colors, fun haircuts and stuff like that. And so it's just, I still believe in word of mouth. I still believe that you don't work at a wonderful salon that just like, I mean, it's the most creative team I've ever worked for under. Like
That's awesome.
the artist at House of Flint is a fucking artist, man. I'm like, things that they do, I'm like, I've never done that before. He's like, what? And I was like, no, I've never done those things before, like with photography and like avant-garde hair and just doing all these things. So I think it's kind of destiny that I was put into the salon with doing hair for 20 years to kind of be under this presence of creativity. And I think that will help me like expand, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
So
it's going to make you stretch for sure.
yeah. And I built my clientele in like 3 months, and it continued in, when I was in Colorado. So I feel like it's going to happen the same, and if not better. So it is stressful because, I'm used to like, having a lot of clients every single day, and but it's fine. You know what I mean? It's totally, totally fine. So like, I believe with, from moving out of California, like life is about taking leaps of faith. And what I've learned from that is that life is so freaking short, as you know. So it's like, Daniel's my person. I knew that the minute I met him, and he did too. And I was like,
I think I was there when you guys met at that fly-in, actually.
The one in October?
Yeah, I think so. Maybe.
It was, well, no, yes, you were, because that
it was the same time as the women's event, right?
Yeah. So the women's event was first day, and then the second day was the regular event, and I met him on Monday. And then we had, and then I was like so excited to talk to him that night. And we sat in the car when he picked me up at the event. We sat there for almost 2 hours, and we just,
oh my God,
it was crazy. And then, and then like Sean, was like talking about getting the couples on the call, and I was like raising my hand kind of and looking at him, and that's when he saw that. Like, what the fuck is going on here? And it was just like all these things just kept coming together. And so a lot of people were there for that. But now I forgot what I was talking about, but whatever, it's totally fine.
Oh, sorry.
Okay. It's okay.
I love that we've gotten to see like your like evolution as a couple from the beginning to now. Like
Yeah.
I love that. I think it's so cool.
Yeah, exactly. And we get a lot of that and we love it because, it's just it's building our brand. Like Daniel and I are building
Mm-hmm.
this brand together of helping as many people as we can. And that's why I love you and Michael together so much, is because you're doing the same thing in your own way.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes people come up to me and be like, well, there's so many people doing that. And it's like, yeah, so what? The more the merrier. The
Oh
more
my
love
God. Yeah.
the more love that people have to give to help other people. And like Sean Whalen talks about this all the time, and I'm not stealing what he believes, but I definitely understand how passionate it is to help others win. You know what I mean? It's amazing. It's just amazing to be able to be the one that touched somebody's lives, and to do that
Oh
as a
yeah.
couple is even cooler. Like I'm so excited.
Powerful. I
Um,
think it adds almost like a level of healthy pressure.
yeah,
Like,
yes,
um,
very well said.
not to just get laxed and complacent and lazy. I'm like, oh shit, like I want to stay on top of my game, but I feel it helps having that pressure from, I don't know. I mean, even if it is social media, even people in your real life see you and
Mhm.
um they want to have what you have and for a good reason, right?
Absolutely.
Um, but I do enjoy having that like checks and balance, like, oh, I need to be good. Okay.
Yeah,
And not like just being good on like showing him love and appreciation. I wasn't good at that in my previous relationships
right.
whatsoever. And I will I will go to the ends of the earth for this man, less so. And I'm sure you can relate to like
Oh, yes.
you know what you have, you know what you haven't had before, and this is
Yeah.
what you want.
So speaking of that, what was your relationship before, and why do you think, you were in that relationship? I mean, I probably can answer that for you, just not knowing who you are, not being confident. Like there's always so many things that go into that, right? When you're in the wrong relationship, you're like, okay, like I know I deserve this. I know I'm worthy. Like, but
Mm-hmm.
it's just like, even from compared to my last person I dated, after that relationship, I was like, I need to still work on myself. That's why. And then I
Mm,
invested in the Lion's Den, a nutritionist, a freaking trainer, like all these things,
right.
get my
Right.
ass in better gear. So what was like, your past relationship like, and how did you get out of that in a healthy way, if you did?
I did not. So I got divorced almost 4 years ago, and I only had one relationship post divorce, between divorce and Michael.
Mm,
And that relationship was, I don't know, it wasn't much of anything. And I wouldn't even compare that like I did anything wrong in that one. But it still was a learning experience. But in my marriage, dude, like I silenced myself.
mm,
I shrank myself. Like I did not feel like my voice mattered.
wow.
And that can be for multiple different reasons. So I didn't speak up. I didn't like we never had conflict because I shut my mouth and didn't say a word about how I felt, um, what my opinion was, any of that. And so after I read Sean's book and joined the den, um, I was like, you know what? Like I was having this midlife crisis. Like I'm 35 years old. And I'm going to wake up one day and be like, this is it. This is all I have. And what have I done with my life? So
Mm,
I started doing a lot of things different. 75 Hard was huge in that, lots of personal development. And I started speaking up. I started, not in like a brash or, aggressive way, but just being like, no, this is what I want. And it didn't go well. And rightfully so. Like it's been 13 years of just go with the flow. And now I'm like, hold up. I'm not okay with that.
yeah.
Um, and I literally ended up just like burning everything down. And I knew I'd been lying to myself. I knew I'd been lying to my spouse, to my family, and I didn't want to do it anymore. Um, I look back on my videos from like Sean's video challenges and oh my God, they are the worst, but you can see it in my face.
Yeah.
They're so awful. You can see it in my face of just how depressed I was. And, the question that Sean always asks is, what do you want? Right.
Yeah.
And I just kept saying I wanted honesty.
Mm,
And at the time I was saying that I wanted my spouse to be honest with me, but really it was me. I wanted to be honest to myself and to him and to everybody.
right.
And then finally when I did, I didn't do it well whatsoever. Like I admit that completely. Like I could have done things a lot better.
Sure.
Um, but I'm really grateful for the way that it did go down. I'm really grateful for the lessons that I've learned since then. Things were things were ugly for a while, but ironically, my ex-husband and I can actually now send a text without being triggered and angry.
That's
And my goal is when our daughter, or she's our oldest, when she graduates in 3 years, that we'll have one graduation party.
yeah.
Um, I went prom dress shopping with her and my ex mother-in-law and my ex sister-in-law a few maybe a couple months ago, and
I
that
remember
was
this post.
um oh, that made me a nervous wreck. I
Right.
was so like I used to be closer to my ex mother-in-law than my own mom. So when
Wow.
I lost that relationship, like to me that was more painful than losing the marriage, unfortunately.
I get that.
Um, so seeing her again after like 3.5 years, I was like, oh my God, what if she's horrible to me? And I just wanted to be a good,
Yeah.
experience for my daughter. And, but she was amazing, of course, and everything was fine.
Yeah.
Everything was good. So
Yeah.
I just think like, I don't know if we can get that far in this amount of time, we can get, better in the 3 years that we have till her graduation for
Yeah.
sure.
That's beautiful. I mean, that's super possible. I mean, I told Daniel from day one, like, my goal is to at least, I don't, want to say like, besties, but good friends with his ex-wife, because to me,
Mm-hmm.
that's the mother of his children. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's huge. And, it's like, even when, the girls and I and Daniel, we all hang out, when their mom comes up, I love it. You know what I mean? Or they talk about her and I love it. And I think it's
Good.
important for me to be interested in that and to show them that. And I want us to be a family to show the girls like it's okay. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's okay if people
You
fall
don't
out
have to
of
pick
love.
sides or,
No,
be careful about talking about
no,
anybody. Yeah.
you don't. And
And actually, like, go ahead.
no, it's okay. I've
Oh, I was gonna say, actually, like, Michael's been really good about that with his ex-wife too. Like when we went to Tulum last week, she was there with her boyfriend and all the friends. And uh to me, that's huge. Like being able to be in the same room with somebody and just have a conversation like they're friends.
right.
I think that's so much like you don't see that.
You
You
don't.
don't see that very often. And that's what we need more of, more examples. And I'm not tooting my own horn. This is them. Like they did that work. Um, but that's what we need more examples of is actually healthy uncoupling, but
Right.
still remaining friends, right?
Yeah, that's really well phrased. I mean, there are, relationship that end really, really bad because there's probably a
Mhm.
really fucked up situation. But even through the fucked up situations, people fuck up. You know
We
what I
all
mean?
have those. Yeah.
We all have those. Like we all fucked up. We're all fucked up in our own ways.
Mhm.
And that makes us who we are. And so, you know, I just like my ex even was like, oh, like the girlfriend is never friends with the ex-wife. And I was like, watch me.
Mm,
So it
never
wasn't
say never.
something
Yeah.
it wasn't something I was trying to prove to him. I just remember meeting his ex-wife and I just gave her like a big hug. And will continue to do that with whoever I
Good.
give big
Love
hugs.
that.
Hugs are
Yeah.
very powerful and healing. And I think it was a couple months later, she was like, yeah, when I met you, I got in the car and I was like, damn it, I like her. And like I actually I thought she was incredible. I liked her more than my ex-boyfriend. You know what I mean? Like
Oh,
she
I
is
love that.
an amazing woman. She's an amazing woman. And so we do need to show that more because there is a lot of broken families. And because it's so broken, and then there's this broken relationship, and then the kids have to see that and they understand that's what it is. You know what I mean? And so if we put in the hard work to relate to each other and be a community and family together, guess what? Those kids are going to be programmed in that way that you can make anything work in any relationship. And of course, you have to also look at those relationships. Are they adding value to my life? Of course, like, Daniel's ex is always going to be in our lives. And so like, of course you can't like say, oh, if she's not adding value, she can't be in my life. But at the same time, where those boundaries lie of, what kind of relationship that is going to be. But, hopefully you are adding value and you are adding value to your children. And, this is going to be such an experience for me because, I've never had kids and I'm the oldest of 5, but I love kids. I have like all kinds of nieces and nephews from my best friends, not from my siblings.
Yeah.
Like none of my siblings are married or have kids yet. It's so weird.
Really?
No,
Oh, that's
I'm just
interesting.
like, somebody please get married and have kids. But guess what? Like I get to have these 3 beautiful girls. Like, they are so special and they're so unique in their own way. But it's just important to show love. And if we can teach our kids something, it's love, respect, and value. And because our kids are the ones that are, with school and social media and all the things going on, it's like, they're just our precious babies. We need to keep them as innocent as possible, and so it's really important to have that. And so I'm really, Michael should be really proud of that relationship. You should be really proud that you and your ex can text without getting in an argument, like Daniel and Karen, they have a really good relationship with co-parenting their kids. And I think it's beautiful. I really do,
That's awesome.
And so
that's awesome.
I'm excited if that's happening. I think everything will be good. And so like you were talking about in the beginning of how you kind of become unrecognizable, right? So it's like you were probably nervous to see your ex-mother-in-law because you were so unrecognizable from when you're with him, right? And going through that too. I have a girlfriend, one of my best friends. She has seen me just have all people walk all over me. You know what I mean? When I wasn't do anything for anybody because I wanted to feel loved from doing things, but I also enjoyed, doing things too. Like it was, a 50 thing. And so now some of my friends are like questioning things and wondering why I'm doing things and, trying to tell me to do it this way and blah, blah, blah. And, my girlfriend, she saw this particular friend of mine and she was like, dude, like she has changed a lot and it's beautiful and you need to respect her in that way. So it's just like, they're so used to, having things or you doing a particular, whatever it is, and then you're not doing that. And so it's just, it's very interesting when you grow. It's very interesting when you become a stronger person and, you're launching off on that rocket. And it's amazing to see like who is going to stick with you and who doesn't. You know what I mean?
And I wonder if some of that is the old people watching you change and just waiting for you to crash and burn or to go back to your old ways. Because I know I've had a lot of people, they just talk behind your back, but it's like, oh, well, is this real? Now she's so different. And why did you really have to change everything? Were you that unhappy? It's like, oh, like this is who I really want to be. And who I am now is not who I'm going to be in 10 years. Like we should be changing. We should be improving as we, learn and grow and just get older. And if they're not going to stick around, to watch your growth, cool. Like, I think that's important too, is not expecting everybody to always be on the same growth path as you.
Right. Right. I absolutely agree. It's like you have friends for a lifetime, a season, or a reason. And it's totally true. And, right. And now, like, I'm like, I want to have people that are doing even better than me, so I can
Hmm.
get to that level and get to that level. And, it's hard, you know what I mean? But at the same time, like you said it right. If people aren't going to like be a cheerleader for you in that way and be like, sorry, bye, like I'm moving on. And that's
Yeah.
when you're going to hurt people because they don't understand because they are used to being comfortable. You know what I'm saying? And it's like,
Hmm.
but if you want to be
Hmm.
comfortable, sorry, if your feelings are hurt, you need to check yourself. Like
Yeah. Well, and change is uncomfortable. Oh my
it is.
God. Like,
It's
anytime you start doing something big, it's like, ugh. And you just moved to a different state. Like, it's not easy, and you're
right.
going to come up to obstacles along the way. Um,
Yeah.
and a lot of times, I mean, I've done this in the past too, where those obstacles, you just stop. You're like, okay, I don't want to have to work any harder for this. Like, I'm just going to stop right here. And
Yeah.
that's cool. But you're not going to grow if you just stay blocked every time you come up against you know, some
Oh,
resistance.
oh yeah. And you probably felt that like in your divorce, right? Like, oh shit,
Oh man.
I'm leaving an entire different person behind. So
Mhm.
if somebody is on here listening to this right now, leaving a marriage that wasn't serving them anymore and shutting them up pretty much and getting out of that, where did you find your strength, Liandra? Like how did you get out? And how did
Um,
like build that confidence with yourself?
didn't happen overnight.
Oh,
I did have a really good support system. It started with just a few friends. The den was not the reason why I got a divorce, but having the support of the people in the den was huge.
right.
And ironically, when I was like, I hadn't left the marriage yet, but I wasn't happy and I was trying to make things work. Um, Almost everybody in the den was like, you need to figure this out. Like, go to counseling, do this stuff. Like, they weren't like, oh, screw him, just leave. Nobody said that whatsoever. Um, and I think that's really powerful too, that you have people that want you to work at things and not just give up when it's hard.
Right.
Um, but then when I when I left the marriage, like we live in a really small town, like 1,500 people. So, and I was a bar owner. Everybody knew we were getting a divorce. And I hadn't even told a single soul, but everybody knew. I'd lost $20,000 a month at my bar and restaurant because people quit coming to the bar.
Wow.
And it I
Wow.
felt very isolated. I felt very alone. Like nobody wanted anything to do with me. They were just, and a lot of this may have just been in my head too.
Sure.
But
Sure, sure, sure.
um, it was really hard. I felt like it made it even harder. It would have been easier just to be like, okay, never mind. I'm gonna go back now because this is just too much for me.
Yeah.
Um, so I basically had to start over with myself, with friendships, with finances, um, everything. I was starting from scratch again. And that confidence came back and grew by doing hard things. I was doing 75 hard.
Yeah.
I was like I think it was, oh my gosh, divorce in August and then COVID happened in March.
Mhm.
So it's like one hit after another. Um but like I opened up my bakery in the middle of COVID and I was like, "Oh, dude, I did that by myself. Like nobody helped me with that." And there's that confidence boost again. And then I don't know what I was doing after that. Then I got a food trailer. Oh, there's a confidence boost. And then I was doing something else. There's a confidence boost. So keeping those commitments to myself was huge in that.
Great.
And learning, setting those goals, figuring out how to get there, asking for help. Um, I think people try to separate that men and women are so different, and men are, they're the goal setters. No, I think women are too. We might have different goals, but I think we get value from that too. And building ourselves, building a business, building a body, all of that. We all do better when we do what we say we're going to do. Like I think Ed Milet says that. That's how you gain confidence, is by keeping the word to yourself over and over and over again.
Don't lie to yourself.
Yeah. Yep. If you say, hey, I'm going to work out at the gym today, and then you don't do it, well, you're not going to trust yourself, right?
Right. Exactly.
Then that confidence goes down. So then set attainable goals. You're like, hey, I'm just not going to eat sugar today. Cool. Right. One day at a time. Like, let's work on that.
Absolutely.
And you just finished that push-up challenge, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
How did that do for you?
Well, I mean, at first I was like, I hired Azaria to do my training, you know what I mean? And so because I was doing the Peloton and you know, working out by myself, because I've always been a part of gyms, not Globo gyms. I'm actually at Planet Fitness. I have never been a part of a Globo gym ever in my life.
What is a Globo gym?
My aunt said that too. And I was like, I've always called Globo gyms like the Mavericks, the Golds, the Fitness, the Vasa, like the big gyms that everybody goes to. Not like I'm used to going to CrossFit gyms and functional fitness gyms, for example, like F45s out there, Orange Theories, like where there's and I love that because I love being a part of communities. So that push-up challenge that Amber started, I was like, well, I don't got time for that. But then I'm like, it's 100 freaking push-ups. And very rarely did I do them all together. I mean, I did them all together, but I would just do like 10 sets in between all of my workouts. And so everything was almost like a superset. Like I would do a set of, you know, back squats or Arnold press, and then I would do 10, you know, push-ups in between that. So they were like supersets. So it was almost like more cardio.
No rest. Yeah.
No rest. And so, but you know, I kind of like that kind of thing. And so I thought it was really fun. And, you know, there were times I'm like, oh my God, I'm so sick of this. Or if it was my day off and I'm like, oh my God, I have to do 100 push-ups. Like,
I know,
you know, but it was just, you know, you could knock them out pretty fast if you wanted to. Like if I, you know, did them on my knees but I really, most of the time I did it on a bench. So I wasn't doing them on my knees.
That's good.
But yeah, it was really fun. I think challenges just keep you accountable with people. And I loved seeing that. Like
that was cool watching everybody, huh?
Cool. Yeah. And then now you know, you guys have done, you know, your push-up and sit-up challenge. And I've seen other people start little challenges like, oh, you know, thanks to blah, 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 when it started with this person, but now it's trickling into other people's lives. And I'm like, that's what I love.
That's what it's about, right? Is that ripple effect. And it just like keeps going. It doesn't end.
Oh my God. It was so cool, you know? So like, and then, you know, perfectly, Sean had this, you know, strict pull-up challenge, which I'm really struggling with, but you know, whatever, I'm working.
Dude, pull-ups are hard.
It's so hard. Like sometimes I'm like, yep, not happening today. But, you know, it's like, because I've just been so drained. Like I really wanted to get, you know, like 3 to 5, and I'm like, I'm probably going to still be at 2. I'm not sure, just because I'm
doing overhand, underhand.
Over.
Oh, dude, those are the worst.
Yeah, I know. I'm sure these are easier, but I think, you know, standard is this.
Yeah.
But because like, you know, I actually really love pull-ups in CrossFit. I loved, you know, kipping and butterfly pull-ups because they were fun. You're like, it's so fun.
Yeah.
So, you know, when I'm doing like cardio workouts, when they have a lot of pull-ups, I will be doing butterflies, but I'm using a band still, just because I'm not gonna, you know, jack up something. If I'm really a stickler for proper form. You know, I did a long time. And so like form is like, if you don't have it, don't fucking do that. Do it. So, but just challenges alone. It's amazing to be accountable, and it's amazing to be accountable with a community. I just love it. It's so awesome. Did you get that too, or?
Yeah, I felt like it just made me stop making excuses. It's so easy to be like, ugh, I don't want to do it.
Yeah.
And what else are you going to do? Lay in bed? Like you can do 100 push-ups.
Exactly.
So, and having a partner, once again, who was doing it with you is like,
yeah.
Really
Yeah.
helps.
Yeah. Yeah. Cause Daniel and we got to do the push-ups together a couple times.
Mhm.
I would like annoy him and put my ass in his face or
I love that.
and he gets so irritated. And then I'm like, I'm going to do that more because it's so fun. But it's
I know.
amazing when you have a partner that is doing the same things. But, you know, when you talk about like how hard it is, you know, doing something every single day, like, you know, but that's life. If you
Dude,
can't, you know,
uh,
if you say one day, like, oh, I'm not going to do it because I don't feel like it, that's
mhm.
how you're treating every part of your life.
Yes.
You know, I was recently asked by someone in extreme high power, you know, who I really, really look up to. I didn't go through with a particular company and want to do something with a different company because it was just too confusing. And, you know, this person asked me, he's like, Brittney, I'm just going to ask you. He doesn't know me that well, and it's totally fine. It was a very valid question. And he asked me, he's like, well, if you're backing out, do you back out in everything in your life? And
Oh,
it was a little strong.
it's a little strong.
It's a little strong, but
Did
you know,
that make you think though? Like, do I?
yeah, I mean, I like immediately I got really defensive in my mind at first,
Mm,
but I'm like, you know, I think this is coming from love, you know, knowing who this person is,
right.
you know, because he's seen me speak and, you know, all this stuff. And I was like, you know what? Since I joined the Lion's Den and since I really gave a fuck about who I am, you know, and first of all, if I didn't find out who I really was, I would have never met Daniel and vice versa. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? I feel like you probably feel the same.
Yep.
And I was like, I thought about that for a while. And I was like, I used to back out of all kinds of things. You know what I mean? And that's what when you get older, you're like, damn it, I shouldn't have backed out there. But that's
Mhm.
our life. You're really lucky when you're young and you know that to like push hard through the hard things when you're young. And so when I
Yeah.
see younger generations pushing hard like that, I'm like, you need to keep that momentum and own it like it's your superpower because
Yeah.
a lot of young ones don't see that. But I was like, you know, everything I have set out to do since I've joined the Lion's Den, I've done it.
Yeah. It's huge.
I've done it. And
I
it
love
might be, you know, some things might be a little slower than others because, you know, it is scary. Like I'm about to launch my coaching group in the next couple weeks
that.
here.
Oh,
Um,
awesome.
and it's just about helping people love themselves, you know,
Dude.
because if you start there, it'll be a ripple effect in everything. And
Mhm.
you know, I've been depressed for 10 years, you know, and then off and on with certain things in my life and just not loving myself and feeling like the black sheep. So I know I have these experiences. I'm so fucking scared though. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
That's a big move.
It's a huge, huge move. Like, and so, but this process has taken a really, really long time. And that's, you know, what I'm like scared about because I'm just like, I just wanted to start, you know what I mean?
Mm,
But timing is everything.
right.
And I can't back out of it because the money that I've invested in already. And so I think it's really important when you do invest in yourself, you put that money down, like you can't like back out of it because
Yes.
like you're in it. That's a lot of money in. You got to keep
Mhm.
going.
Yeah. Well, it's even
So
like if you're hiring a coach, like if somebody gave you free advice, you're not going to take it as seriously as if you're paying for it, right? You've got some skin in the game. And then it's like, oh, okay. I really
right.
should do what they say and listen to what my coach is saying because I'm paying for it, right? If it's just
Absolutely.
some random stranger that you don't give money to, it's not going to be as valuable.
It really isn't. And it's kind of a weird thing, but I feel like once you do invest in yourself, you are hearing a lot better to
Yeah.
others. You know, that's what I have noticed. But yeah, I mean, I'm just like, okay, you know, like I've lost 20 pounds. I have mentally gained so much power in my mind. You know, my business, I made more money than I ever did last year, you know, even though I got to start all over again. It's okay.
That's okay.
You know what
Done
I
it once. You can do it again.
mean? And just, you know, working on those relationships, adding like so much value and having people around me that add value. So I'm like, check, check, check. Keep
Yeah.
going, you know? So, um, that's why it's so important to invest in yourself, you know? And I think, you know, with that, you are in more communities. Like when you launched your free Facebook group,
Mm-hmm.
from the ashes, you guys, I'll put that in the drop box below. It's all these women in there, you guys are just everything that you guys talk about, you know, I don't see all of it all the time, but when I do go in there and spend time in there, I'm like, man, this is so awesome. It's so empowering. And, you know, her fiance, Michael, has one for men. And,
Mm-hmm.
you know, Daniel has met like so many people in there and like has gained so much empowerment in there. And it's like, dude, that is so cool. You know, like
Awesome. I
creating
love it.
communities. Like it's just, it's incredible what value you gain from that and how that makes you feel,
Mm-hmm. I
you know,
just want to like help more people.
right?
There's plenty for everybody to go around, but to ask
Absolutely.
these questions that no, like so many people are like, I've never been asked that question.
That's
I
really good.
don't know. That's making me feel away. And I'm like, cool, dig into that. Like,
Yeah.
let's not just ignore it. But I mean, like, they've never asked themselves those questions. Like, where I think the one like a couple of weeks ago, I was telling women, like, I want you to write out where you want to be in a year,
Mhm.
like in every way, your body, your finances, your marriage, your relationships with your kids, friendships, all of that. And some of these women are like, "Ugh, I don't know." Then you're not going to change. Like
Yeah.
we're going to grow it all, right? We need to know where you want to go, and then we can work into those goals. But I love it. It's so much fun to me just to because I learn as much from them as they. I'm not saying they learn from me, but learn from each other in the community. Um, it's huge. It's huge to see the growth. It's huge to just be around more badass women. I love it.
Good. I love it too. I love it too. I think Saxony is going to do another women's event. I'm like, girl, do it, do it, do it. Do it. I'm
Yep.
so
And I
good.
think we're going to do some pictures. I think I convinced her of that too. So
Oh, good.
that
Oh,
might be a part of it. We'll see.
yeah. Yeah, it is. It's amazing. Like I did that for, you know, Valentine's Day for Daniel, you know, and I was like, but it was for me,
Right.
you know, like
Right.
even my aunt was like, are you doing that just for him? And I said, no, girl, I'm doing that for me. You know what I
Yes.
mean? Like, and there were some pictures where like I'm sitting and my leg is crossed over me and there's like, you know, I got some rolls over here. And I was
Yeah.
like, I'm not, no, I don't want those pictures. And then I ended up being like, I'm like, you know what? That's my body.
Yes.
I should be proud.
Yes.
Who cares if there's a roll right there? I mean, I'm sitting like where you make a roll, and you know, of course, like not like
You are a
big.
human. You are a
Yeah,
woman.
I'm a woman, and so and I used all the photos. Like, Jen,
Good.
that's really big. He's like, this is so cool. Like, this is
Oh,
so
I love
cool,
that.
you know. And that's what it's about is just
Mhm.
having that inner beauty come out in photography or in your relationships or in your business, like or when you're working out, just like feeling that power. And we all have it. And if you're sitting there feeling like I don't have that, well, you get to decide that you do.
Yep.
That's the cool thing.
Yep.
And how, like, with having you have two boys or
I have a daughter and a son. Yeah.
a boy and a girl. Okay. So, how have they changed watching you being in a healthier relationship? Like, what do they see you as now? And how has that made them? Have they gotten more confident, like, seeing what you did?
I think so for
That's
sure.
cool.
My daughter especially. So ironically, like she and I started dating around the same time. um, and she would be going through her boy drama and I'd be going through dating drama. And we would kind of compare notes and I'd be like, well, you don't deserve that. And she'd be telling me the same thing. But I see her having more of a voice now too, which she never used to have.
Wow.
And I think it's important to be that example to your kids of what's possible. Um, I think, I don't know if I'm doing them a service or a disservice, but like I'm giving them a pretty expensive lifestyle
Right.
and showing them what's possible.
Right.
And I'm gonna be like, okay, now you're 18 in a couple of years, and be like, okay, go buy your own Porsche or Harley or whatever you want to do and go travel the world, but you're gonna have to, learn how to make some money, all of that. Um, I do, dude, I love being a mom,
Aw.
but being a mom of teenagers when they're a lot like you is not easy. So
Yeah, I kind of feel like maybe God, was like, I don't know, like you're amazing now, but like I don't know if like other Britneys would have or me trying to like handle myself, like,
right.
and Daniel has 3 girls. Like I
Ooh,
remember him telling me that and I was like, you have 3? And
how old are they?
they're 13, 11, and 7.
Okay. So when they all sync up,
I
that's
or
a thing,
we all
dude.
that's
Yeah.
gonna, you know. And so like I'm just like, Jesus, take the wheel.
There'll be times with my daughter, I'm like, what is wrong with you? I'm like, oh, we're about to start. I
Yeah,
get that. Okay.
oh yeah.
You
I
can go
mean,
back to your dad's now.
I PMS so much. I PMS really bad. I mean, I've been off birth control for over a year now,
Mm,
which has really changed my mental health, my
it
physical
changes
health.
so much, huh?
God, I mean, it's, the last 3 years, they've really been really showing you how bad birth control is. And like, I really hope in the future that Karen, Daniel, and I can really hopefully teach the girls all
Mm,
the good things so they don't have to be on birth control because of
yep.
how it fucks you up so bad. Like that's a goal of mine in the future. I think about those things, and
Yeah.
how, like there's so many studies of how you even attract men on birth control.
Yeah.
It's a trip, man. It's such a trip. And
And
so
I can totally see that, like going back in my past. I'm like, oh yeah.
right?
You're just attracted to a totally different kind of person,
It's weird.
which is okay, but
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
it's crazy.
So but yeah, I'm just like, hey, like it's gonna get so crazy, or it just might be awesome, because like his oldest is such a scholar and she overthinks everything. She's a lot like Daniel, but she
Mm,
also has this beautiful artistic side and she's learning about confidence and everything like that, where his middle daughter, she's the crazy one. Like I freaking love her. I'm like, she reminds me of me. And so I'm like, I am getting a little taste of me, but she is a free spirit, man. Like she
yeah.
is just like loud and
She was a
beautiful.
middle child. Yeah, that's what I
Oh
was
my
doing
God, I love her. I love all of them. I
in their
really
own
do.
way.
And the 7-year-old, she's 7. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
She's just like a very beautiful little delicate butterfly that just
Mhm.
wants to love and hold hands and hug and just like she's so
I
cute.
love that.
So
Do you guys all live together or do you have your own place?
So I have my own place.
Okay.
Daniel and we didn't really plan it out like this, but at the same time, I really feel like this is a really good thing. So I feel personally that if, I just straight up moved in with him, I think it would be really hard on the girls.
Mm,
They might have more resentment towards me because of that, because I'm there,
right.
because it's just,
Right.
they're learning this too. They're young, their parents split up, and so it's like, they're still adjusting to that.
Mhm.
And so I think it's actually a very beautiful thing how this next chapter is going to be, because I will just see them, at least twice a month, if not more. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
You
Like,
can be there as just another person that loves them and not somebody who's replacing mom, any of that. I think
and
that's
that's all I
important.
want to be. Like, I don't ever
Right.
want to try to be their mom. I want to be a person that loves them and adds value to their life, and
Mhm.
that we can all coexist with each other. So yeah, so right, I have my own place, like, and it's really nice because like I know this is gonna be the last time I have my own place. And so like I can't be like, Carrie on Sex in the City having her own apartment still, and all
Right.
the relationships she did have when she
Right.
was her person. And so like I'm actually like really loving these present moments of having my own place. But I'm
Mhm.
also very excited. I'm very, very excited when that next step happens. I don't know when it's gonna happen.
Yeah. And there's no rush, right?
There is no rush, like, I mean, of course, like eventually I'm gonna be like, okay, it's time, but
Right.
I want to start building this family together, because all I want to do, I want to be with Daniel every single day. I want to do everything with him,
Mhm.
I want to do everything with his kids. Like I want to go camping and, do all these things. And I feel like having experiences with the children again, I'm not a mom, but this is how I feel, like having experiences and doing new things that you've never done before with your partner or
Mhm.
with the kids is something really cool, and that's
Yeah.
what we've done so far. So I want to continue to really, plant those seeds and really have them just blossom into all different colors and all different shapes and sizes of love.
Oh, I love that. I
Yeah.
love that. That's so good. Yeah,
Yeah.
we're not going to be experiencing that. Michael and I live 4 hours apart. So, um, we do like the
Okay.
1 week on, 1 week off. So when we have our kids, we're separate. And when we don't have our kids, we're together. So it works out really, really well.
Right.
Um,
Right.
I have my kids right now because I was gone for 2 weeks. So we're here at his house for a couple days, but we don't get a lot of time. We don't get as much time as I would like with all of us together. So when we do, it's super special, but
Yeah.
it works. It works out really well.
Or eventually, are you guys going? Well, I mean, you're going to get married someday. I mean, are you guys
We
going?
are going to get married, but nothing's going to change.
Yeah.
I won't take my kids away from their dad. I won't leave my kids.
Yeah.
It's just the way it's going to be. So
Right.
we'll make it
Right.
work.
Right. Yeah. You do make it work. You know what I mean?
And
It's hard.
like bringing in 4 teenagers and being like, okay, now live on top of each other. Like, I
Right.
don't know if that's the answer either.
Yeah.
So
Right.
I don't want to encroach on his kids.
Right.
We visit for a little bit and then we
Yeah.
go home.
Well, especially how old they are, and just like yeah, when you're teenagers, you're in this space of like, who am I? Where's my
Oh God, that's the worst.
Oh God, it is like you
Yeah.
care about what people think about you. And so, I mean, I think it's great what you guys are doing now that I think about that because of the age of the kids, like just
Yeah.
finish what they're doing, have those visitations where it's a happy environment instead of like, okay, we're all on top of each other right now.
Right.
So it's
And it works for some, it doesn't work for others. Like
right,
I think it's important just to find out what does work for you
right.
and stick with that. Don't listen to what other people say.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And
Yeah.
that's why I moved here, because like I did not want to create any animosity or any like
Mm,
resentment or hatred or anger or just something that's going to upset the kids,
yeah.
and his ex. Like, so I was like, you know what, I will move here. Like, I'm not going to move in the town where they are because it's not my type of environment, especially with hair, you know what I mean? So I'm like,
Mm.
I'm going to be here. So we're an hour and a half apart,
Oh,
and
okay.
that's amazing, you know what I
Still
mean?
doable. Yeah, totally.
Completely doable, and it'll be doable for whatever happens,
Mhm.
but like I definitely want to be in the same house someday. And so we'll see how that works. Like things might change. We might, want to do this for until his kids are all grown up. But like what you guys are doing, who knows?
Yeah. But
But
we only have, oh gosh, like 3 years, 5 years
yeah,
left.
exactly. So
You
we have
guys
a
have
much
a ways.
longer time. And so someday. And I love that, like, he has his kids every other weekend. Like, and when we do move in with each other, I'll have like that time to just like decompress because it'll be
Hmm.
new for me, but I'm
Yeah.
also very, very excited about that. So let the
That's
journey
cool.
begin.
I know. I'm excited for you guys. It's amazing.
Same. So you are going to be, let's talk about, you're going to be talking at a women's event coming up.
I will be. It's called She Reigns up in Salt Lake City, oh gosh, June 24th, I think. It's a
Okay.
Saturday. I'm going to be talking on confidence. Whoop whoop. And I'll be doing some shoots up there too. So power shoots for the men, boudoir for the women, maybe some couples boudoir for those that want to do that. Gonna start dabbling in that too. Um, so yeah, it's gonna be great.
That's
I'm excited.
awesome. That's awesome. So I'll have that link in the box below. If you guys are in Salt Lake City area and you want to be a part of a women's event, like I hope I get to go too and see her speak. Like, hell yeah. Like,
Yeah.
that's so awesome. And I know I was like, I told Daniel, I was like, that'd be really fun. Like, because when I did those boudoir shots, I asked the photographer, I'm like, do you do couple session? Because I just think it's just so cool. You know
Oh
what I mean?
yeah.
it's so beautiful what, pictures capture with that love.
Hmm. And the lady that I learned from in Maui, she does a lot of couples. Oh, her process was so beautiful.
Uh,
It was like a couples therapy session and boudoir all in one. Like she did this breathing exercise, and then they talked about like how they like to be touched and what was, oh my God, it was amazing. So I'm
oh,
like,
that's so,
I'm gonna do that too.
yeah, that is so, so cool.
Yeah.
Ideas now. I'm like,
Hmm.
so, as we end this amazing conversation, I love that just to snowball into all kinds of,
Oh, you made
I
that
just
so
love that.
easy.
It's my
Thank
favorite.
you.
What would you like to leave with this conversation of just like, you're going to talk about confidence pretty soon here at this event. Like,
Damn.
what are the top 3 things that women can do to build their confidence?
Um, they can, this is gonna sound horrible because some people don't like it. Put yourself together. So do your hair, do your makeup, take a shower, get out of your sweats, put on an outfit that makes you feel good. I think when we put effort into ourselves physically on the outside, starts to kind of like fake it till you make it. You're like, oh, I do feel better. And it's just a little boost.
Love that.
Oh man, I think being honest helps your confidence. If you're lying, you're not going to want to be very confident. And I think smiling and talking to strangers is huge.
Huh.
And I can do that more. Sometimes it just gets so in my head, and we talk about the RBF. I have a million tabs open in my head, and I'm not thinking about smiling or looking at anybody, right? Um, but to literally just like smile, be like,
Yeah.
okay, or ask someone how their day's going.
Yeah.
um Adding value is huge. Even just starting a conversation adds value. So
Yeah, I love that. I completely agree with that. And I really think that, Colorado and Utah, like when people you say hi to people, they say hi back. Like
yeah.
California,
No.
but I'll still do it because it just brings you joy if someone's like, "Oh, thank you for asking how I'm doing."
Right.
You know what I mean? Like
Right.
that's so nice. Like I was on our relationship call with Scott and Travis last night,
I
and
love
like
them.
I was so tired yesterday. Like I fell asleep like when I got home, and then I was like, "Oh crap, half of the call's gone by." But I jumped in anyways, and one of the girls, she reached out to me and she's like, "Are you okay, honey? Are you just really tired?" And I was like,
Oh.
"Thank you for asking." I mean, yes, I am really tired, like struggling with that, like I get to talk to my hormone doctors today, which I did,
Mm.
and all my levels are good. So it's just, but I was like, I want to try, B12 shots. I'm very open to like
Trying
really
new
low,
things.
I mean, today was a day that like I actually felt good, but I had to like drink like an energy drink, the better kind, the Celsius or whatever,
Mm.
um, just to like stay awake. But whatever, I'm just,
Yeah, that's what you gotta do.
I love that. I love, smiling at people, saying hello. Like there was a client that came in today and I was at the front desk and greeting her. And I asked her if she wanted a drink, and we serve like beer and wine.
Oh,
And
nice.
she's like, you know what? Oh, a glass of wine would sounds really good. I've had a really shit day. And
Oh.
I was like, do you want a hug? And she was like, okay. And I just gave,
I
I feel
love that.
hugs are so healing.
They are.
Not this kind of hug, but like really holding on and like
Yeah.
giving them your energy and transferring energy. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
The transfer of energy is so powerful. That's why I love physical touch of like the 5 languages of love. Like not just having sex, but just like I want to just put my hand on your shoulder or
Yeah.
and so you can
Feel you.
transfer that type of energy through people. And she was like, I had to put my cat down, this past weekend, and it's just been really shitty. And I just sat down next to her and I hugged her again. And I just, I told my coworker, when I told her her client was here and I told her the whole thing, she was like, so she was like kind of mentally preparing for like something
Mm.
bad. And at the end of the day, I was like, how was that service? And she's like, it was so wonderful, like because she's in a place of love and she felt so confident being in this place in this present moment feeling like that. And it's sometimes it's a team effort of showing people love or you know and I'm talking about team member, just like you and I, like, hey,
Right.
Liandra, we're going to smile at everybody we see for the next 30 days. That's a
Ooh,
good,
that's a good
that's a good
challenge. That's a really good challenge. I like that.
Yeah, I like that too. Or just like, saying hello to a random stranger, asking
Yeah.
them, how are you? Like,
Giving a compliment to a random stranger. I'm
absolutely.
horrible at that. And I know that could be a good challenge too. We'll
Yeah.
do push-ups and then we'll do compliments and we'll do hugs for strangers.
Booty shakes and compliments.
There we go.
But let's talk more about that, like in our DMs, and see what we can come up with. Let's
Okay.
let's try to create that kind of challenge. I think that'd be really cool.
Yeah, dude, I'm
Something
all
kind of
for that.
Yeah. So look out for that, you guys. We are gonna do this challenge. We're saying it right now. So let's
Yeah.
come up with something really cool that makes it fun and just bringing people together. So you guys, like, listen to her 3 tips, follow her on Instagram. If you are a female and you want to join her Reclaiming Ashes Facebook group on Facebook. Please come in. Like, it's fabulous to be there.
Yes.
And she's very inspirational. So if you want to ask her questions. Like, she's very
Yeah,
nice.
reach out, definitely.
Yeah. And get those boudoir shots.
Whoop whoop.
Yeah. So thank you so much, honey, for being
Thank
on.
you for having me on. This was a lot of fun.
It was so fun. I was looking forward to this for weeks, and
Me too.
it's just like I just love I love talking to people, or women especially, that are just so empowering. And so thank you for being you.
Oh, girl, I appreciate you so much. We will catch up when I'm in Salt Lake for sure.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. I'm gonna look at my schedule and make that happen. So it'll be awesome.
Awesome. All
All right.
right.
Have
Thanks,
a good
girl.
night,
You
and you
too.
guys, till next episode, have a good one. Bye.
Bye.